This is a video abstract for our manuscript in situ physiologic and behavioral monitoring with digital sensors for cerebrovascular disease, a scoping review. And this paper appeared in Mayo Clinic Proceedings Digital Health.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Zawada. I'm a PhD student at Mayo Clinic, and my team and I are investigating cerebrovascular disease. The rationale for this specific paper rests on the fact that globally, cerebrovascular disease is a huge economic burden. In the US alone, recent estimates by the American Heart Association suggest that Americans spend upwards of $45 billion on an annual basis on direct and indirect costs related to stroke, which is a specific type of cerebrovascular disease. Those direct costs can include hospitalization, while the indirect costs can include short-term and long-term disability care related to that specific stroke event. Knowing that and considering the convergence of all things digital and the fact that more patients than ever before have received care outside of a clinical environment since 2020, we set out to assess the landscape of studies that used wearable or smartphone-based digital sensors to aggregate continuous data from patients who were either diagnosed with a cerebrovascular condition or at risk of a cerebrovascular disease condition. And we filtered our search criteria to specifically focus on technologies that had been evaluated with the potential for application in environments outside of clinical settings. Ultimately, the goal of this paper was to aggregate any evidence that had been dispersed across the translational science spectrum so that future researchers, whether they're engineers, scientists, clinicians, economists, anyone, could more closely orient their research questions and their research collaborations to drive value in this specific emerging research area. So let's go on a tour of our paper.
So in our study, we asked how we could observe cerebrovascular disease symptoms in situ. We used a range of disease keywords and phrases to search for cerebrovascular diseases, as well as some broad digital sensor concepts. And we found that the main categories of monitoring for this specific disease category included motor function, physical activity, heart rhythm, heart rate, kinematic or gait analysis, blood pressure, mood, cognitive function, and fatigue. Most studies categorize multiple cerebrovascular disease conditions together, used a wearable accelerometer, a PPG-enabled smartwatch, or smartphone-based sensors, used disparate methods, and evaluated pilot validation and feasibility trials.